There's so many more public companies announcing by the day that they're holding it on their balance sheet. You've got the US now with a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and they're only expected to accumulate more. And it's still such a tiny market compared to everything else that most of the assets in the world go into. There's so much more potential for upside than there is for downside, knowing who is still sitting on the sidelines evaluating this and interested in it. The quieter ones are ones like Tesla, where they hold a huge amount of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, more than $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. I mean, it's a tiny fraction of their net worth as a company, but it's a really appreciable stack of Bitcoin. You don't hear about that all that often. The most vocal are MicroStrategy, or Strategy now. Michael Saylor's the guy that seems to buy 10,000 coins every other couple days. At this point, they're mainly a Bitcoin holding company, issuing equity to buy Bitcoin and issuing debt to buy Bitcoin and trying to increase the amount of Bitcoin per share that the company holds. They went from $500 million total market cap to, I think most recently, like 60 to 80 billion as a company. They've grown pretty quickly in about a 4-year time span just from buying and holding Bitcoin. We're still really early in the phase of this coming to the world. If you think of world-changing technologies like electricity, it took decades for there to be any amount of market penetration. Same with the internet. Like 15 years into the internet existing, there's still only maybe a few 100 million people using it. And now if you think about how ubiquitous the internet is today, you couldn't imagine living without it. But there was a point not so long ago, 20, 30 years ago, where it had been around for decades, but most people still didn't use it on a daily basis. That's the point that I think we're in, is there's a lot of people using it. Some estimates are 100 million or so people own any form of crypto, but the vast majority of people only have a tiny slice. Most of the world still hasn't adopted it in any meaningful way. If you think it's going to be the world's money, it's still got 1,000x in terms of growth to become that.